Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Youth and Women Platform. And this is your host, Sister Zinat. The purpose of the program is we talk about the today's problem of youth and women, and we even talk about the solutions with an expert with us. Today in the studio, we have an expert who has done MA in English, definitely, and she is a supervisor and vice principal and educational manager in international as well as national schools. That means she has been dealing with a lot of foreigners, the people from different cultures and races and different kind of situations. So she knows, she has a lot of experience. Sister Zehra Muqaddas Zadeh. Salaam alaikum, sister. How are you?
Salaam alaikum. Fine, thanks. How about you? Thanks for having me today.
Thank you so much. We are too much excited to have you here.
The pleasure is all mine.
So, sister, you are a vice principal and manager of educational manager, and you have been dealing with like youth since years and years, especially the foreigners, all kind of youth of different races and different cultures who come from different background. So it is a very, very interesting to interview you because in today's world we have the youth, the problems in the school. So we are going to be talking about the school problems and how to deal with them. Especially this episode is really good for the parents who actually have the teenagers and the kids who have different kind of issues and they really don't know what's going on in their life. They are so much busy in their life. So you can help them with a lot of solutions, So let's start talking about it.
First of all, appreciate it and then really happy to be here with you and people who are watching our program today. I have been working as a teacher and mostly educational manager in different national and international schools, and I have observed different children and youth with different personalities, characters and cultures from different countries. To tell the truth, ups and downs at school are part of life, and by having a great relationship with school staff and teachers, parents might head off the problems. It is really important to recognize and address problems in early stages if they come up during the academic year, and some problems can be easily spotted, but some of them, no, they are hard to spot, and students or children prefer to hide them, and you might recognize them by their indirect behaviors. There are some behaviors or even problems which show up during academic year at school, like showing a poor academic performance, lack of motivation, loss of interest, if they have made a few friends, if your children and our students don't like to talk about the school events, they are not engaged in extracurricular activities, or even on the other hand, they might hide it by copying the others' friends' assignments, and usually they make excuses not to attend the school and skipping school without parents' knowledge.
So they are more like introverts, these students.
For sure, yeah.
And they are not really participating in any cultural activities or educational activities. They are the quiet one. They are just coming to school and going back.
When we take a look at these problems, they might be considered as minor and major or severe ones. We shouldn't skip over these problems because in long term, even minor problems might lead to major ones. And if your children are not interested in going to school, in long term and long run, they might drop out of school if that is left, unchecked or even left untreated. On the other hand, the problems might be classified into some different groups. They might be personal factors and problems, family factors and problems, and also even school factors and problems that might be noticed, which one of these problems, or even some children might suffer from both or even 3 or 4 problems at the same time.
So how do you really deal with such problems?
To tell the truth, we usually start up with personal factors. to see what is going on in minds of that learner or
You
even
speak
children.
with them, you
yeah,
call them, huh?
and even with parents in the other stages. First of all, personal factors like physical changes that might happen during this time, because adolescence is the age of change. It's vulnerable time for kids to develop their unhealthy habits and grow them into problems in future. Then we first start off with their personal problems. If their physical changes, that should be considered as normal change that every teenager goes through.
Yeah, it's a hormonal change.
For sure.
You know, once you are in elementary school, you're kind of like a kiddo, sweet little
Yes.
innocent. And the moment you're in mid-school, your hormones has changed.
Yes,
You are supposed to
exactly.
pop up with that maturity, like my way or highway, a rebellious kind. It is not true. That's true.
That's natural, and the best solution is for these kind of physical changes, like change in appearance and also change in voice. Some changes in appearance in boys and girls that somehow they are different, somehow similar. Then the best way and solution might be making them aware of these changes as a natural process that everyone, every and each teenager goes through. And on the other hand, better to show them how important they are to us. And even if we have had these experiences before, we might show the way to pave the way for them.
We can talk about our own problems.
Yes.
So basically, one point you said is call the students and talk to the students.
For sure.
And when you're talking to the student, you come to know what is the real reason.
Yes.
Is it something personal? It is like private, or maybe you're bullied in the school or anything. And when the person starts talking, show them this is something natural.
Yes,
because you're becoming a
exactly.
teenager now, your hormones are changing.
And you will see some physical changes that might affect or impact on your self-confidence.
Yes, and make her feel comfortable, or the students
Yes.
very comfortable.
Yeah.
And then all these reasons that means the supervisor is having a connection, a
Yes.
heartly connection with the students, right?
And
To
also
ma-
the parents on the other hand.
and you
So-
even should call the parents
Yeah.
to talk that what is the issue going on in your life.
Yes.
If this is the issue just because of your home issue, your kid is suffering. Look,
Yes.
maybe there will be a change.
Yeah.
So this is actually very good, but very challenging for you.
For sure that is.
Because how do you deal with this problem that when you call an introvert student to you and the person has this thing in the heart, it's not easy to speak out. And the student does not speak out about maybe the parents are having fight, maybe she's being or he's being bullied. How do you take that out from the heart?
We try to make friends with that girl and see that we have gone through this stage before. We have had these experiences during puberty.
Okay,
and
your problem. You talk about yourself. to
yeah,
make the
first
person,
start up talking about myself, and whenever I used to be in this situation, somehow we have had these kind of
Yes.
situations before, and even we have seen in our families or relatives. I try to express and open up the discussion and dialogue, and then for sure they will feel free to express themselves.
Slowly, they do. But you have successful cases that they start talking.
And also, on the other hand, if they see that you are not judging them, you are not going to debate or even criticizing them.
Yes. That's very bad with the adults, right?
Yeah.
They do, all of a sudden they ridicule you, put you down,
For sure.
blame your parents, and they feel so inferior that they back out.
Yes.
So as a supervisor, you have to know, you have to make the person very comfortable so that the person went out the emotions in front of you.
And also, I'm not a person to judge you, or
Yeah.
even I'm not a person to give you some piece of advice if you're not ready to receive it.
Yes.
Sometimes it should be better to be a listener, not a lecturer when you're talking to children. And on the other hand, these are some personal factors if they suffer from depression or anxiety at school, and or even they don't have high self-confidence, or even they don't know social and communication skills.
That's
Because
one of
their family members have not gone somewhere or even have not been in touch with someone. Because of that, they are
true
not.
introverts.
Yeah. They are
So how do
introvert.
you deal with bullying in the school, which is so common?
Yeah, that is.
Bullying can be in different ways.
Bullying might be of those behavioral problems or even psychological problems. First we try to discover those problems if a child shows up disruptive behavior. Some of them are hyperactive, and also some of them have kind of attention deficit, and on the other hand, they usually don't know the result and consequence of their actions. They do something, start doing something without thinking over it, without thinking over the consequence of that. For sure, there are positive parts and sides in their characters and personalities that overshadowed under these negative things that have been observed by people. In my opinion, I try to encourage them by their well-act behaviors, and then try to control them by asking them to do some responsibilities and tell my expectations, or putting or signing some rules for them.
You put rules for them?
Yeah.
You make them sign the rules?
Yes.
This is for someone who's bullying other.
Yeah. I say,
yeah.
I know that you're a great person. You have positive, you have a kind heart, and you are really even sensitive and compassionate to the others. I know that you love the others, they're like just your sisters. But the point is, you somehow need to be try to think explicitly with them about your expectation. But we do not expect you to bother the others because they are hurt by these actions that you have done.
What kind of rules do you put for them?
We usually try to get closer to these kind of personalities. Some of them are hyperactive, and some of them act like don't think and just do something. And then we try to teach them some problem-solving activities, asking them to come to the office, and then taking something for their teachers, being a kind of relationship between an office and also the other students, like representative of that class, these responsibilities.
So slowly you make the person realize if you're giving the responsibility,
Yes.
you have to be humble.
Yeah.
You're not here to bully. And then they realize, because they're hyperly active,
Yes.
right? They want attention. Maybe they're also attention seekers. Sometimes it
For
happens,
sure.
right?
For sure,
They have
that
their
is.
talents that they can show. So you divert their mind by giving them some job.
Yes.
Working for you guys.
And try to turn the negative side to the positive side of their character.
Yes, but
Because
not ridiculing them.
Yeah, no.
That's actually very nice. This is something new I learned. So,
And also we can give them some time, because they cannot manage their time sometimes. They cannot concentrate on what the teacher is teaching about. And we can give them some time. You have to complete this task or something that we have asked you to do in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then try to hand it in to me like this.
Wow, so you're giving them the
Yeah,
task.
and encourage them as soon as possible when they
That's
have
very
done
nice.
well.
Very interesting topic. So thank you so much for tuning. We will be right back after a short break. Welcome back after a short break. So, sister, we have been talking about youth and bullying. My curiosity is, if someone is bullied, if someone is the victim, so how do you deal with that? Because the person is traumatized. So how do you deal with that kind of a student?
To tell the truth, we try to discover if what kind of personality she has. because sometimes shy students and usually introvert ones who are spoiled in their families, they are one and only child in families,
Yes.
they have got the support of their families. Everyone in their families defends their rights. They should know that sometimes in a society, because the school is one small community,
Yes, it
like the
is.
society that they have to grow up in. Then I try to first ignore in the first step to see what she herself is going to do. Can she defend her right and confronting someone when she's oppressed or not? And if she could not and came and just tried to protest about the others, we can ask for reasons. Asks for reasons and ask them both come to us and see the reason of bowling. But in my opinion, it should be better if a student learns to defend her rights first.
Yeah, that's the defending system.
If she could not, we can help her by supporting her and then giving her some clues to act well.
So yeah, because the bullying cases is just not one case. It can come out of mocking based on your race, because you have been in an
Yes.
international school.
No, when the school starts, we usually tell, whenever the school wants to start, we usually tell all the students that race and color of skin and issues like this shouldn't be mocked or
But still it
even
is
made
mocked.
fun of.
It is still mocked, because when the student is dealing each other in the class, it still comes the matter of me being superior, you being inferior, the superiority complex does comes, and that is definitely out of ignorance of that person, and that can be explained. You can handle it, right?
Yeah, we usually go to the classroom and try to even, build some positive personality and characters and aspects of that girl who is being bullied. And the others for the next time, because children and students see teachers or even staff as a high authority in
Yes.
school,
Yeah.
they usually respect the elder one's opinions. When we respect that child for her positive character and her even modesty, or if she's polite enough, or even she has got great scores and grades, the others for sure might respect her as well.
How do you deal with a depressed student? The student doesn't even know that she's depressed.
And also the families don't know.
Family doesn't
We
know.
have to, in my opinion, these are of those personal factors that we told first.
Yeah.
If the students suffer from depression, first, in my opinion, it might comes up from mental disease or even chronic illnesses, especially even physical illnesses if they have
Yes,
got
yes.
it. And then first step, it is parents' duties to let us know about that. In a way that if they recognize the signs like their child feels loneliness, she doesn't like to talk or even doesn't like to get involved in any social activities, doesn't like to make friends, and also isolated from the society by texting, just addicting to the cell phones and cyberspace. Or social media.
Yes.
Or on the other hand, sometimes these children are really sad.
Yes.
And this sadness might be damaging in a way that they usually say, I wish I was not alive.
Suicidal.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
they usually talk about committing suicide.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Sometimes they try to watch some really bad movies or tragic movies or stories.
Something that can make them more sad.
Even more sad.
So have you been to this kind of situation? Have
Yeah,
you
I
heard?
have been.
How did you handle this situation?
To tell the truth, I tried to put her in some situations where she has to be volunteer for doing someone.
Giving her importance.
Yes. Being a volunteer of one group and the responsibility of that group, being in touch with people in society can help them to come out of their isolation.
This is true because usually the school is big and there are a lot of students. There are few students they are giving a lot of importance by the
Yes.
teachers. And there are students who are just stranded by the management and the teachers. And they are talented, but the talent has not been taken out from
For
them.
sure.
And even the teachers think that they are not talented because they judge them. The
Yes.
teachers can be very bad judgmental, you know.
Exactly. One of
Yeah.
the aspects that we see in depressed students is that they think negatively. Negative sides
Yes.
of the coin is something more important for them. We can even say to them that you are clever enough, like the other students. It is not necessary to compare and contrast yourself with the others. I'm not as smart as the others. I'm not
Yes.
as rich as the others. I'm not low level of self-confidence or even self-esteem might lead them to the wrong even
And
ways.
this is based on the marks. If
Yes.
your marks is like A grade, then you are very good, you know, because me as a school student, this is what I used to think. The successful person is that who is getting good marks. Someone, and the teacher is also giving them a lot of importance and
Yeah.
attention. And if the person has a C grade or a B grade, does not get much importance by the teachers, and this is definitely wrong. You know, I'm talking about my
Yes.
time. I don't know. Definitely it does exist right now. But this kind of feeling of inferiority comes that I'm not better is
Yes.
because of the grades.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this negative aspect has been seen in some schools by some teachers that we usually tell the teachers that this is of those human beings before being a student.
Yes.
So try to give her importance for being a human being, not just for the grade, because grade or any scores does not even show your superiority toward the others, or even does not evaluate your knowledge at all. You might be
Yeah.
stressful and you cannot act well in this exam.
Exactly, because the person who's getting A graders until 12th, after that, you know, they may be person who are not getting a good grade and can become doctors after that.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you see the person is doing engineer or
Yes.
something. So for the students who are not really getting good grades, they should not be disappointed or have an inferiority complex
For sure.
or think that other people are better than her because her talents are still not out. But again, how many percent of cases have you seen in which the youth are suicidal? Do you know is it a lot or is it rare? The suicidal rate in youth. Have you seen a lot of cases?
In our schools, not that much to the
Not much.
yeah.
Okay, that's
Not
very
that
nice.
much.
But when someone comes and talks to you about being suicidal just because of the parents, what is the real reason, most of the reasons? Is it the
Most
parents?
of when their parents have got divorced,
Uh-huh.
or they usually live with their grandmas and grandpas. Sometimes they suffer from financial, or they are struggling with financial problems. These are the issues that they compare and contrast themselves
And
to the
they
others.
can't concentrate in this study. Something hurts them that they cannot do their homework. There's no
Yeah.
happiness and peace over here. So trying to make them comfortable to the environment where they can study.
Yes.
How do you handle that situation?
We usually talk to the parents if see this child has problem and cannot tell anybody. We invite parents to school and talk to them what this problem has rooted in. And for sure, parents are great models for the
Yes.
students.
Yes.
If we see violence, if we see using drugs or something like alcoholic drinks and like this, one of the parents like that might be a role model for that kid.
And start working on
Yeah.
that kind of a situation. So basically, when you see this person is so highly depressed and talk to the parents, does it really works?
We usually tell parents to expand the friends that she has, the friendship circle that she has with great ones in different places, from their neighbors to their relatives and everyone that she likes to spend time with.
And
In my opinion, when parents are great listeners, active listeners instead of judging someone,
yes,
and when children think their parents are their friends, these problems might be reduced, in my opinion.
that's really very nice. And what about the parents who are like don't have a good relationship with each other and the home environment is not good? You talk to the parents, right?
Yeah.
And does that really work?
We try to say that these children might have great goals for their futures, and try to turn into one beneficial person and fruitful person for the societies. And even just IQ and EQ and these things might not be that much important to us. Something that is really important and something that matters is their relaxing atmosphere at home to study
Peaceful,
well.
yes,
Yeah.
very peaceful. Because as you said, if the students, you cannot judge the students
Yeah, for
by
sure.
their grades. You know, they have parental problems or financial problem or
Yes.
physical problem, the
Yes.
health issues. And you even said a good point, the parents should inform the health issues beforehand
Yes.
to the management so that they would know if she is reacting this way, it's because of this reason.
Yeah.
The health issues, you say. But do you inform these issues to the teachers so that teachers would know?
For sure.
You
As soon as I get the news, I will inform the teachers to see how, because teacher is a person who is in touch with students during
Yes.
a day.
Yeah. Wow. So this is really very interesting. So many things. As a manager, you're not really teaching them, but still you're teaching
Yeah.
them a lot because you're listening to them.
We are like the connector between parents, teachers, and
Yes.
students.
You are like a big triangular connector, you know,
Yeah.
you are a connection. That's true. If a student is very short-tempered, angry, you know, someone who's violent, you have seen, me as a teacher, I have seen the situation where they get a physically like, they bang their bags, they bang their chairs, and they bang their doors, you know. All of a sudden they come with this violence so much, you know. Where is this violence
And
coming
sometimes
from?
it's the result of being having anxiety. You know, anxiety might lead into these kind of violence and aggressive behaviors.
Anxiety with what?
Anxiety with getting the highest scores,
Oh.
to be the toppest students, because this is of her parents' expectations, and
Yeah.
she does not like to be blamed by parents because of that.
There's a mental stress.
Yeah,
You're talking about
that's
the-
of mental stress,
Yeah.
and some of them are genetically when they have been
Oh.
observed by the parents and also someone around them.
Okay, so basically there is a lot and a lot to think about the students.
For sure.
Don't
That
judge
is-
them and don't expect always a 90% from them.
Because to
yeah.
tell the truth, children are like seeds.
Yeah.
The seeds that parents plant and water, and they bring up the way parents behave, and they imitate how they have seen their parents with.
So have you dealt with someone with having drugs?
Having drugs, just one case during these years.
Okay, you have dealt with
Yes.
them. So we will definitely talk about students who are into alcohol or the parents are into alcohol and someone with drugs definitely in the next episode. So for the viewers, please keep watching us, because this is all about the youth, and it can be your life, it can be their life, you know.
Yes.
And there's a lot of solutions. We have been discussing about the youth, why they don't take much interest in studies. It can be the private issues coming from the parents, or financial issues, or physical health issues. And it can be genetic, you know.
Yeah.
It's health issues, definitely. So the way you said you handle them is talk to them, make them comfortable talking about your own issues.
Yeah. And also give them some clues,
Clues.
To solve their problems.
And give them, you know, responsibilities, give them a status, you know, make
Yeah.
them feel special, so they'll call their parents, talk to the parents, and handle the situations. And it was beautiful. But we have a lot of more issues with the youth, and we are going to be talking about, inshallah, in the next episode.
Inshallah.
Thank you so much, sister, for being with us.
That was my pleasure.
Thank
Thanks
you
a
so
lot.
Thank you so much, sister. It was indeed a great pleasure to be with you. And thank you so much for still being with us. And so stay tuned for another exciting topic. Until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.